after about
All right.
an hour, 15.
It's 6 o'clock and I'll call the meeting to order and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Scott, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Tate. Discussion? Hearing none, in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We will now move on to the annual reorganization with the election of officers. Nominations are now in order for the office of chair.
I was literally just gonna say that.
I'll nominate Julie Olson.
Okay. Julie's been nominated. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? I'm hearing none. Nominations for the office of chair are closed. And I'm going to declare that Julie is elected as chair. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And it's all yours.
All right, next we're going to have nominations for the office of vice chair. Are there any nominations for vice chair? Well, I'll nominate Tate. Excuse me, Lane. I'm looking at Tate and saying Lane. I'll nominate Lane. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations for vice chair? Okay, if there's none, then Lane becomes vice chair. Okay. We're looking for nominations for the office of clerk. Are there any nominations for clerk?
You're currently the clerk.
Yeah.
I'll nominate Carmel.
All right, are there any other nominations for clerk? Any other nominations for clerk? Any other nominations for clerk? Okay, hearing none, Carmel is our clerk. All right, nominations are now in order for the office of treasurer. Are there any nominations for treasurer?
I'll nominate Scott.
Okay. Scott's been nominated. Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Any other nominations for treasurer? Any other nominations for treasurer? If not, then Scott's our treasurer. All right. Next order of business, appointment of committees.
Madam Chair, may I suggest Kim Reed from last year? And then if anybody wants to change,
Okay.
we could do that, or if everybody wants to stay the same, it could just be a unanimous vote, I believe.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'd like to be changed from negotiations to transportation. Actually trade with you as well.
Yes, that's fine with me. I'll take the finance and negotiations and trade you for the transportation.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I
Anybody else?
Does that, everybody remembers what they're on, or do you want me to read through them?
Go ahead and read it.
Go
Well,
ahead.
I will say that Deb is on the community ed and the legislative liaison, which she said she would stay.
Yeah. Continuing ed is Carmel. District advisory is Tate. Facilities and health and safety is Tate, Julie, Carmel. Finance negotiations, Lane, Scott, Carmel, and then Julie's gonna trade. LCTN is Julie. Deb is legislative liaison and transportation is Julie and Tate.
Which would now be
And
Lynn.
now Wayne instead of Julie. Okay.
And if anybody else would like the LCTN governing board, I'm willing to give that up.
That is 2 meetings a year, correct, Julie?
Yeah, 2 or 3. I think it's 2. There's one
Usually
coming
one
up
at
in
11, one
February.
at ECGC?
And they are, no, they're all by Zoom.
Oh, there, no.
Yeah, they're by Zoom, so.
What about that meet and confer? Do we have that?
That was a new one.
Oh,
Is that a
yeah,
new one?
that was a
Oh,
new
meet and
one.
confer. Okay, well, you know what? I'll stay with LCTN, I guess. What's the meet and confer?
Meet and confer happens twice a year if any union members have a concern that they feel hasn't been resolved with administration, it goes to the board. So usually what would happen is if we don't have anybody that's had any issues that haven't been resolved, I'll bring it to a meeting prior to this meeting, and the people on meet and confer would visit with the teachers. And but fortunately, there's not a lot of issues usually.
I'll try it one year, I guess.
Okay.
You need 2 people on that? or-
I think 2 people would be good.
Yes.
I can do it. I'm only on one other one.
Okay, Wayne and Scott?
So, okay, so transportation is now Tate and Wayne, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And who's got continuing ed?
Me.
Or not, thank you.
I don't think I did anything this year.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you looking for a motion?
No, I'm just writing down what committee I'm on. Okay. The next thing would be board compensation rates.
We have to approve.
We have to
Yeah, we
approve
need
these
a
first?
motion.
Okay, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to approve the committees as Kim read them or we discussed.
I'll second.
okay, we'll need a vote on this. So this would be a roll call vote, is that right? Lynn?
No.
No,
No,
this one
this is
is a regular
just
vote.
standard vote, okay.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Actually, Julie, tonight, only the resolutions have to be roll call vote because you're all right here in the room, so then we
Nobody's
can just
voting
do.
on-
Yeah, nobody's voting on there, so. So I made the extra long lines for names for nothing, but that's okay.
Sorry. Okay. So then we can move on to 4.3 board compensation rates. Okay, I see these rates are the ones we used last year apparently.
Yep.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to keep them the same.
I'll second.
The only one that changed, the federal mileage rate changed. The federal government changed it to 56 cents instead of 57.5 cents.
Okay. I'm still good with the motion.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more discussion on that?
Carmel, did you second?
I made the motion.
And you
Wayne
seconded.
seconded.
Oh, geez, sorry.
Okay. All of those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Item 4.4, official designations. And they're listed on our,
I'll make a motion that we accept them as presented.
okay.
Second.
Shall I just read these off? Depositories of Citizens Alliance Bank and Heritage Bank, MSDLA. Meeting dates are the second Monday of every month in the high school media center or via Zoom. Meeting time is 6 p.m. Does that sound good to everybody? You leave that alone? Okay, official newspapers, Clare City Herald. Notification methods, district office and website. And our legal counsel is Kennedy and Graven. Any other discussion on that? Okay. If not, let's vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, passes. Okay. Number 4.5 would be signature authorizations. And we need a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to approve the signature authorizations as noted.
Second.
Okay.
So then you just fill in Scott as treasurer and Julie as chair there.
Yep.
So for electric fund transfers, it's Kim Sandry, the business manager, Kathy Schuler, accounts payable and student activities, Nicole Cray Niemeyer is payroll and purchasing, Scott as treasurer, myself as chair. Kim Sandry is also business manager, Kathy Schuler, accounts payable, and Nicole Cray Niemeyer, payroll and purchasing for other accounts. So, if there's no discussion, any discussion? No? Okay, then those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, 4.6, safekeeping investment securities. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve safekeeping investment securities as printed.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Business manager to make investments in federally insured secured accounts which will yield the greatest interest rates and approve United Bankers Bank as safekeeper of Citizens Alliance as bank's pledged collateral as required by Minnesota statute. Any discussion on that? All right, let's vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. All right, is there public comment to make now?
There's no public
No.
comment.
All right, next is 6.0 consent agenda. Is there
Make a motion to approve.
Tate?
Okay.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? If not, we'll vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Communications reports. Denise, you're up.
Yeah, I think I'll stand up because then my voice will carry a little bit, but hopefully you remember me. It's been a little while. But pretty much finished up all the fall-winter programming before we had to go to distance learning. The only two things I had to suspend were karate and Zumba, and we have since started them again. So karate's going to start tonight and Zumba will start on Thursday night. Because of COVID, what I decided to do rather than do a booklet like I normally do, I'm just going to do it by month. So the first one will come out, will be for the latter part of January into February, and just kind of see how we go rather than deal with cancellations and stuff like that. We are starting our elementary traveling basketball. I listed there the coaches that we have. Some families decided not to do it, so our numbers are down just a little bit. So we did combine teams. 4th and 5th grade girls will be coached by Jerome Warren. 6th grade coach girls will be Noah Holgren. Fourth grade boys, Nathan Bourne, and fifth and sixth grade, we're combining to have Chris Thiessen and Corey Jansen. One thing that fell under community ed was student age care, which we provide when the elementary is in hybrid or full distance. And of course, we had to make that happen. We went into full distance the week of Thanksgiving. So we offered that both at East and West. We had 33 students in our program. One thing that was different this time around, both parents had to be Tier 1 essential employees. So that did eliminate some families, but we just held to what the state had required us to do for that. One thing that we did different this time than last spring, we did do distance learning with the students. Overall, that was well received by families, and I think we did just a great job helping the children with that. I really want to recognize the staff that helped with it, because it was a huge dedication on their part. Not only did they watch the kids, they went over and above to do craft projects and plan a lot of different activities for them. So for East, we had Kate DeHue, Darcy Johnson, Rami Jorshkum, Rhonda Kimpling, Michelle Marcus, and Linda Rushin. At West, we had Katie Burdorf, Don Johnson, Kathy Minke, Marcia Plant, and Ole Sandry. And again, they did an outstanding job. They really can't say enough great things about them. I shared some pictures too for some of the things that we did. Any questions?
So instead of a booklet, you're gonna do monthly, but you're not sending anything out to them?
That's a great question, Julie. So what I'm gonna do is do like a flyer, and then I'm gonna email that, I'm gonna post it on our website, my Facebook page, elementary programming, or I'll probably just do the whole flyer. I'm gonna make copies and send that home with elementary students.
Okay.
We're not gonna mail out anything through snail mail this time, just because it's kind of by month. Unless you feel that would be something worth.
Well, as long as it's on the website.
Yeah.
And easily accessed.
Yeah, and I might, try to maybe, I always send things to the library and so forth. A lot of those things are closed too, so it's been a challenge, but we just kind of keep figuring out how to keep programming happening, so.
So no pickleball?
I'm hoping. We have to keep, the challenge with that is any kind of fitness class, you have to keep 12 feet apart from each other,
Mhm.
which is a little bit tougher with pickleball, so we'll see what I can pull together for that. All right, thank
Okay,
you.
Sounds good. All right. Jim Trulock, you're next.
Hello,
Hello.
you guys doing?
Great.
Have the twins.
Is this all gonna be interactive?
This is.
Yeah, where's your twins?
I saw Tate dozing off, so I had to do something.
And you need to start talking.
I know, thanks. Well, you can see, number one, we're started in our seasons right now. Numbers, I'll confirm at a later meeting, but right now roughly we have, I think, 23 girls basketball players, 9 through 12 out, 26 boys basketball players. Coach Tungen has talked to 10 kids about wrestling, hoping maybe we can get 5 of them to go, but he's still it's a work in progress. Dance are 14. Numbers are a little down this year. Maybe some is because of COVID. Also, they did not have their camps. They did not have any of the lead-up activities that they get to usually promote their sport, so that probably caused a little decline as well. But all of our competitions are scheduled. Boys and girls basketball. Girls basketball, we have 8 home and 9 away. Boys basketball, I just added a 9th home today, and that's the max we can have is 18, so we have 9 home, 9 away. So I'll have to tell Sam, if he's listening, we just scheduled this Saturday, we'll have a home boys basketball game against New London Spicer. We made a pretty good attempt to try to have a C and a B for girls basketball, and we made the commitment that we were going to do it, sharing players, and then we are not the only team having numbers problems with girls sports right now. All but 5 games, I think, in the conference canceled the C games because they did not have enough players to be able to play us. So we were trying to, but you'll notice a lot of the C games canceled, and just so you're aware, it's 100% the other teams that cancel them, not us.
So how many teams are in the conference?
There's 12 total,
12
including
total.
McRae.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are 16 games, and I think we only have 5 or 6 C games. There's at least 10 canceled.
What are the rules for spectators again?
I'll drop down to that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's on there.
So down to 5. The rules are not quite as cut and dry as they were for volleyball, but we're going to do a comparable thing. You're allowed to have 150 fans or 25% of your capacity, the lesser of the two. The problem we really have in our gym, first off, our gym is not very large. Secondly, we really cannot put fans on this side by the players. Fans have to be 12 feet away from the players. So when we line them, when we set them in that bottom row of chairs, the fans would have to come in and go through the team members to be able to get up in the bleachers. The other problem we have is, for instance, when the C team is playing, we'll have to have the varsity players sitting up behind them and together, and the B team sitting up there together, and then the same thing with our opponents. Which, how would we be able to put other fans up in there with them then and still keep them all 12 feet away? So this side of the gym pretty much has to be shut down just for our teams. So that gives us the stage area and our normal, the full side over there. The problem with that is we have to keep people 12 feet away, so we're going to have to close out probably the first 3 rows also of those bleachers. So our seating is really limited. So right now, we worked on it. We had hundreds of emails today within the conference trying to get this figured out. And we can't all do it exactly the same, because schools like Dawson Boyd, Lackaprow Valley, YME, they have way bigger gym, way bigger gym seating than we do. So we're kind of all leaning towards trying to do 2 per competitor, and then we're asking that the varsity parents do not come until right before the varsity game, and vice versa. When the C team is done, the C parents leave, because there's just no way we'll be able to handle that capacity and have any sense of social distancing and so on. So I'll be sending a letter out this week about it, and we'll just have to do the best we can. Masks are going to be required by everyone, that enters. So, and it'll be a sign up. So I think we're going to send the Google Sheets out to the parents this time. I don't know that it went as well. We sent them to the players during volleyball, and then there's times we would hear that the parents didn't get invited by their kids, occasionally. And so we're going to let the parents make that decision, because maybe if parents don't want to go, they want to sign grandpa and grandma up or something along those lines. And so we will send out some type of Google form again. Then we'll have that exact list at the gate. So if we did have to do any contact tracing, we've got a good list of everybody that was at the event.
But that's still going to be on, people can still watch it?
We're still going to have that Pixelot
computer?
system going,
Okay.
and we will be doing A, B, and C, and I haven't got to talk to Jesse yet, but I'm hoping, we're playing junior high girls basketball over in Maynard, and I'm hoping we can take that system like we used during volleyball over there. Is that
He does
possible?
like 3 days ahead of you. She already emailed me on like Thursday.
Good. That's why I pay her the big money. So anyway, I think we're going to, that'll be free to the public through our YouTube channel. So then the next one,
That's junior high only.
the junior high over in Maynard will be free through McRae's YouTube channel, and then it'll be like this system.
Okay.
And then the gym here will still be that National Federation High School, the Pixelot camera system where they can subscribe.
Do we have commentary with the varsity and stuff, or no?
At this point, we don't. We don't have a setup for that.
Okay.
I know there's stuff you can purchase to get that in there, but it'll have the gym noise,
Yeah.
and you'll still get to hear the announcer, but at this time, we don't have a setup for commentary.
Okay.
How did that system work for you during volleyball and football?
I didn't really, I heard very few complaints. It wasn't perfect. At football, occasionally it would pick up on the wrong motion. A referee would be walking over here and it'd lead a team and go over the ref. I know one thing Sherry had noticed, that it'd be nice if it would be able to zoom in on the flag during the national anthem or something along those lines. And maybe in the future, we don't use the flagpole, and maybe we have someone go out in the middle of the field, and take care of it. Because those are things you really can't program, because it's 3 cameras in there that's picking up the movement. But I didn't hear a lot of complaints about it. There was a little bit of complaining that they had to subscribe, but I still look at it, $9.99 a month or whatever. You're going to be able to watch a lot of basketball games, so it's not per event, or maybe it's $10.99, I think, and $69.99 for a year. But we're not the only ones that have it. I know Minneota has it, Tracy has it, I think Canby has it. There are probably 5 of us that do.
Yeah.
So even at the away games it works. So, did you hear some complaints?
Well, the only thing I heard, that if you're playing a team that doesn't use it, then their spectators can't watch the game, correct?
No, that's not correct. They can still, it's all, Jesse has it all on our website.
Oh, okay.
And they can come here and they just gotta select McCray, so they just do a subscription through us, and then we actually benefit from some reimbursement then.
Oh, okay.
So for instance, when we play TMB, their people, they'll subscribe through TMB, so we don't get any of the subscription money. But if we play Lakeview, who doesn't, they're not part of that, they have their own system, then they'll have to subscribe through us, and it's all on our website. Well, that's
Oh,
one
okay.
thing that.
I wonder if there was a little confusion about that, but I didn't do it
There
myself.
could be, and something, I kind of dread it, because it's gonna take a long time, but we have a link to copy, and one of my goals tomorrow is to open up the schedules in every single one, C, B, and A for every single event, to put our link in there.
Okay.
So, so I'll be able to do that for the games that have Pixelot, and then for all of our home games. So when you go to the McCray website, look at our activities calendar, it's gonna show a little camera right there by the game, so people can look at the schedule, click on that, and it'll be a lot, more simple for them.
Okay.
If you have a smart TV, you can search for that app, and
Oh.
then it's right there, and
Okay.
if you subscribe to McCray, it pulls up McCray right away. It works pretty good, once you
Okay.
get your account set up. So.
All right, number 3, I just got a long email from Cameron Mock today. It is going to be, Knowledge Bowl is going to be a goal. He's going to start having some practices. Said he's probably going to need someone else to put people in 2 different rooms. All the competitions are going to be through, I've never heard of it, but something different than Zoom, Dorset or something along those lines. But, so that's something we're going to have to get set up for him, but he's going to start recruiting the kids and get that going, and they're having sub-regional competitions at the end of February. So we're in the process of going to work on that schedule. When I play, I talked to Aubrey Ross, and she's planning on trying to have some tryouts this week, and that's all going to be done via Zoom. They'll actually record the presentation, and that's the way it's going to be judged. There's a specific date they have to have it turned in on. She's got a lot of planning to do yet, but we do plan on having a team. Quite a few schools dropped out from when I played this year, so they have dropped 4 sub-regions down to 2 and done some combining because of the low numbers. For team protocols, we are just, obviously masks are required from when they walk in the building. Our coaches meet them at the doorway, take the temperature, ask them if they have any symptoms, ask them if they have any positive case in the household, and they put their mask on, and they're supposed to have it on full time, and we're going to continue to remind when they drop down, and that'll be the same way at this time for games. Wisconsin did something similar, and they did an article on it that said it was basically a struggle for 2 weeks. They've had no cases of kids that have had any serious health problems. Even the kids that had asthma and other problems seem to adjust to it. It's not as easy, but they did okay. And after about 2 weeks of getting used to it, there hasn't been a lot of complaining. It just seems like they adjusted and moved on, and we're happy they got to play, and we're hoping the same thing goes on here. Number 7 was that Pixelot system. We got reimbursed a check for $570.39. That was crazy high because of this year's circumstances. And I guess that was all I have, unless you guys have more questions for me.
So I have a couple more questions. Can we put 150 fans in our gym?
Not at the same time.
Because of why? Because I thought it went off of the capacity limits of the gym.
It does, and then we shut these bleachers down. So that's where that capacity limit gets cut in about half.
You
Okay.
gotta go
And you-
12 feet on one side, right?
Yep, and then we gotta close the top 3, or bottom 3 rows. So
Okay.
it's 150 or 25% of capacity, whichever is lesser.
Yeah, so,
If we had something-
and we can't even do 150 with our 25% capacity, is what you're
Right.
saying?
Right, with only being able to use half the gym and close the bottom 3 rows up.
Okay.
But we still should be okay to have 2 per person, providing, like I said, when the C kids are done, if some of those parents will go home and the varsity parents just wait till later to come, I think I think we should be okay to be able to get all parents in. But right now, in all honesty, at 150 maximum, with coaches and players in boys basketball, we have, and 2 managers, we have 31. If we give every one of them, you know, 2, we're pushing the limits already right up to half without the other team. So we're going to have to look at it at an individual basis. Or, excuse me, each event, because like RCW's numbers are really low. They have like 13 girls out for girls basketball. So they might give 3 tickets because they only have, they said, we don't want to go to an event and have the other team have 90 people in the gym. We have 26 because we have less players. So the home site is going to make the determination if they can add any more at their home event. And we might be able to do that once we see what the other team is bringing. So someone like RCW may only need 35, then we can probably maybe that week we can offer more tickets. Or more spaces.
Well, I will just say, of all the volleyball games I went to, we were the only school that shut off one side completely of their bleachers.
Where did they put their other players?
They sat behind the team. You know, I don't know, this was the only school that I went to that had one side completely shut off.
Okay.
So do you have to have the student players themselves be separated by 6 feet when they're on the bench?
Supposed to.
So
Yeah, real
the team, not
difficult
even the
thing.
team itself can sit together per se?
They're not supposed to.
Okay.
And we tried to do that at the beginning, and you know, you got to wrap all the way around in, so you kind of have to tweak it to what's I guess what we're able to do. Sometimes some of these rules we can't follow because it's not even possible.
How about the busing?
Still working on that.
With the athletes?
Yep.
Still working on that. And the other question I had, I did read that they suggested electronic ticketing, like no exchange of money or ticket taking. Is that something we're capable of doing?
I don't think our conference is doing that. I think we're all just going to do it. We're all doing a straight up $5, and the thing we're sending out is that bring your exact change. So you walk up, give a $5 bill, and then we let that money sit for 24 hours before it gets counted. We don't count it that night like we used to and things like that. And I'll look into the gym thing, you know, because I know the thing is, some of the gyms don't have to do that because of the size of the gym, they can still accommodate keeping the kids away from the fans and so on. For us here, if we open this up, you literally have to walk in and walk in between the team and the kids where they're sitting, so you're walking side by side then. Now, maybe some people are breaking the rules and they shouldn't. You know, I don't know that either, but we're not supposed to be allowing any fans within 12 feet of an athlete.
I was just hoping we could really utilize that 150 people to open it up to our fans who want to come, grandparents and different people.
Well, I'll keep working on it and see what we can make work.
I appreciate it.
I don't want to try to keep fans out. That's not a goal at all. But I want to make sure we're abiding by the rules too. Anything else? All right, thank you.
Judd Wheatley, you're up.
I am going to swap my spot with Melissa.
All right.
Thank you, Judge. So, across the district, we've been working on increasing our mitigation efforts. And so just want you to know that they are in place here at the high school. You can see those dowels standing over there. That's for everybody's plexiglass. So every person has a piece of plexiglass in front of them. The paras do. We're working on that. We added, just a couple examples, we added additional dots on the floor in the cafeteria to make sure that when we are lined up for lunch that we're not all bunched together, that we have 6 feet of distance between each other when we're in lunch. So we're continuing to work on those efforts. One of the things too that gets a little tricky is to make sure that, you know, the green and the blue students stay relatively equal so that we have less than 20 students in them. And so right now all classes do have less than 20 students in them. And again, that was kind of tricky as we made schedule changes for a semester to kind of make sure we were following that so we don't have too many students in the room. I want to especially thank our custodians for assisting the teachers with all of their needs to keep our students safe. There's a lot of requests that they have to make things work for them, and the custodians have been very good at accommodating our teachers. We are in a new semester, and we have a number of new course offerings, so I've listed them for you there. Josie Dunder's teaching novel. We probably haven't offered that class for over 10 years. Construction skills is a brand new class taught by Ben Johnson. Animal care vet science is brand new, taught by Kayla Kutsky. Home and auto probably hasn't been taught for about 10 years. That's new and back again. Creative writing is taught by Andrew Lewandowski. And human resource management is new for the first time. So, and to follow that up, we're registration for 21-22 is underway. And what drives registration is student interest. And so when you see those new courses offered that I listed above, that's because there was an interest in them last year, and that made the class run. And so teachers got a copy of the current registration book over the weekend, actually. And now it's their job to look through the registration book, decide what course offerings they want to keep, pitch a new class to me if they have something in mind, and from there it rolls out to the students. So Laura meets with everybody to go over the registration book and kind of field questions from them, and then we register on parent-teacher conference night. So this year is much earlier than last year because of our calendar this year, so we're hustling to get things done, but it's nice to also know what we're doing for next year. And then finally, I just wanted to recognize the WCCEO class. It's really made a lot of gains this year. I'd like to thank our teachers, Denise Smith and Cheryl, for all their work in the class. It has been anything but what was expected this year because of all things COVID. So they are doing, I have a typo here, I said raffle, they are working on a winter auction, so you'll see more about that, and that's how they're going to fund their business plans. And real excited about, we're going to be matching mentors with mentees on Wednesday. And again, kind of interesting with all things COVID, we're doing what's called speed rounds on Zoom. So we have students matching with mentors and keep rotating through rooms so that every mentor and mentee get to interact with each other briefly, and then there'll be someone like myself monitoring each of the different Zoom rooms, and we'll be watching and taking notes, and then in the end be able to pair up mentors with mentees. So it's really interesting to see all the tech skills that people have gained in COVID. I mean, it's amazing to see what all the staff have come up with. Just is out of this world. And so I'd like to recognize all the staff too, just for all the things that they've never thought they could do before that they do. And so I appreciate all the out of the box thinking that's taking place. So any questions for me?
How many students are in that WCCO program right now?
There are 14 in the class right now.
What's kind of the maximum there?
That would be about where we'd want to sit.
Okay.
When we were kind of planning it, they said we would never want it any bigger than 20. Because it really takes time for them to develop their individual business plans and all of that. So I think 14 is a really nice number to start with.
And that's across all the schools participating?
Yep.
How many McRae students?
We have the most.
Okay.
There's 6.
6.
And then 4 from KMS and 4 from RCW.
Thank you.
Okay, looks like you're next, Sherry. Or Judd, I guess we missed Judd.
He deferred to Melissa because Melissa has another meeting on Sunday.
Oh, that's right, okay.
So we can go back to Judd.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen here for you. Good evening. Thank you, everybody. Just a brief little update for you here. Excuse me, for some reason. There we go. Return to school tomorrow. Very excited for that. We have our in-person learning. That resumes tomorrow. We have the opportunity to jump into our in-person learning on the 12th instead of waiting until the 18th if we would have extended, and then we would have had to do a phased roll-in of all the students. So being able to have everybody in the building tomorrow is going to be fantastic for us. It's also the start of our early release, which begins at 3:30 p.m. Again, that's to provide extra prep for teachers per the mandate that we were given. So we've got that going. And then we also have our COVID testing beginning tomorrow. That's something I want to share with you, a little bit of the information we have from that. Again, this is for staff only, and it is voluntary. We have Nurse Laura is going to be leading the way for us. And then as far as the elementary goes, I am going to be appearing in each building to not only learn myself, but just make sure everything's running smoothly, and if there's an extra hand that's needed, I'll definitely do that also. And then as far as what the schedule looks like, just so you can see, we have that down here. Laura's going to start at the high school, and then Palmer Bus is going to be there also. We have 40 individuals, and that's going to start about 7:45 and go till about 10:30. Then the traveling test show is going to be going to West for about 20 individuals around lunchtime, and then East for another 20 individuals to wrap up the day there. And then we have the results are going to be via phone or email within 2 to 3 days. And I had shared with Sherry and Melissa today that my son participated in his first round of testing at the school he works at, and he had his test on Thursday and had the results already on Saturday. So pretty quick turnaround on that. And then the last thing I have for you is that I'm hopeful that I'll be able to give you the results of our winter benchmarking of our reading and math scores, so that we can do a little comparison from the data that I showed you a couple months ago. So hopefully we'll have that information ready to rock and roll for you. And I know the teachers have really have been trying everything they can to make sure that they're getting valid data through the distance learning format. So we'll start breaking that down and hopefully have a report for you coming up in February. And that's my report. Any questions?
I was just going to add that that testing is going to continue every other Tuesday until further notice. Okay.
Sherry, you're up, I guess.
Okay, I'm going to begin. Kim, I'm going to call on you for number 3 just to share a couple things, and Carmel and Julie, I'm going to count on you for number 2. Something that came out today from the Minnesota State High School League is that I really appreciate that they have created a financial advisory committee. I think they got enough hassles from all the stuff that happened this fall, and so they're calling on people, a membership of people, to help them work through some of their financial issues they've had, and I think that's going to create a lot of trust and transparency among schools. So just wanted to share that. Second of all, I have a lot of questions about when do we all come back in at the high school. Key decision-making criteria are these items. What about the new COVID variant? I'm on a group of 8 superintendents from around the state with leaders from the Department of Health and MDE, the Deputy Commissioner of MDE. Just this weekend, we learned on Saturday, before it was announced to the state, that there are 5 cases of the new variant of COVID in the Twin Cities right now. How will that impact us? I don't know. When will it get here? I don't know. How fast does it travel? That's the one thing they're saying. I don't know. When are vaccinations going to be here for staff? That's another big consideration. When do the staff get vaccinated? I know in St. Paul, the St. Paul Federation of Teachers is saying they're not going to teach until they get the vaccine. So does that play into the decision making when we come back? County numbers, according to Heather Mueller, Deputy Commissioner in charge of COVID, is saying county numbers aren't that big of a deal anymore if we can be in. And I'm thankful for that. Because we can have really high county numbers, but not necessarily be impacted in school. Mitigation efforts, what have we done? Melissa just talked about some of our mitigation efforts. Our saliva testing results. How are those going to turn out for us? Our ability to staff the school, that's why we had to shut down in November. We didn't have people to run the school. Operational safety within the school, that kind of talks to, are our custodians able to be here? Are we able to provide meals? Are we able to get kids to school on the bus? What are our COVID numbers in the school and state directives? So when we meet as an advisory committee, these are the things we talk about. These are the things we need to be considering. I think this is just an idea, because I don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks, but maybe sometime in early February, we look at this all the time. This isn't just something I set a couple flags on the calendar and think about it then. But early February, after we've been in for a while, how have our mitigation efforts helped reduce our numbers? Are we staying safe? Do we have staff? One of the goals from the Department of Education is not to bring kids in, then pull them back, and bring them in, then go to hybrid, then pull them back, and then bring them in again. We were very fortunate to have made the call to make a decision on December 28th, because if we wouldn't have done that, we would have been committed to that January 18th date and have to roll in our elementary. We would be waiting till next Monday and bringing in pre-K, K, and 1, and then waiting 2 more weeks and bringing in 2, 3, 4, and then waiting 2 more weeks and bringing in 5, and 6. So hopefully we're doing everything right as we're planning and planning for mitigation, but these are the key decision-making factors that we have to consider in making the decision. So just wanted to report on that. Any questions about that? 'Cause there's usually lots of them.
So you're
Some
thinking
people in the
February.
what?
So you're thinking February,
I'm hoping,
or hoping February.
but I have nothing to base that on.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing. Denise, Jim, Melissa, Carmel, Kim, Jesse, me, Judd, we're all on that group, along with transportation, special ed, regular ed. So I'm really happy that we have perspectives from all those people about so many different things and how it impacts all those different departments. Number 2, and I'm looking at the time, and I want, Lane, you're better at this than I am. I'm going to jump to the motions here, not jump to them, but can you and Julie please consider moving 9-6 up to the top when I'm done with my report? Because Chris, I don't know about Dan, but Chris needs to leave at 7. So I'm just wondering how we do that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
Carmel and Julie, regarding the POC decision to move ahead with add alternates. Can you speak to that right now, you guys, and what we've done? And if you would share that some right now, that'd be great.
Okay, the 2 alternates that we had were controls and flooring that we did not approve last time. So in the meantime, from our last meeting, we had meetings, little group meetings about those controls, and decided on one of the companies to go with. They ultimately were the low bid in that department for that ad. And then flooring, thanks to Dan and Chris for learning all those confusing numbers and finding a way to present that made sense to us. But we did, maybe Kim can talk to the fact that we've got a little extra money than we thought we might have to go with that terrazzo flooring upgrade. So we decided to go with that in the common areas and the hallway that connects the 2 together. So we think those are good choices to make. Certainly the terrazzo flooring is costing us some money up front, but it will be a long-term maintenance savings forever, practically. It never wears out. So would like to recommend that we go with those, is what I guess, where I'm coming from. So, Dan, you got anything to add there?
Well,
Chris?
along with that, in the letter, we shelved some of the other alternates. They're listed there as to reject. Like the scoreboards would be purchased direct. There wasn't much savings. We kind of got a quote for buying them direct and put them on a bid. And now we're looking at some alternates for that. the upgrade to the middle school science room. Right now, it's kinda, we're recommending to reject that, and then seeing in the future, certain upgrades can be made as budget and kind of the curriculum calls. And yeah, I think with the flooring, just the favorable budget numbers that came in, with some of those interest earnings, it's a longevity thing. It'll pay for itself. It'll be a good thing for the school.
Let's hop over to Kim right now, as long as we've talked about the funding a couple of times. Go ahead with that good news, Kim.
Well, I contacted Ryan from Illers again. Remember, he was here in September talking about projected interest earnings, and they are coming in higher now. So we're looking at a very conservative estimate of $962,000 plus. So that gives us interest earnings to do additional things if we want. And we were looking, and we've talked about 2 additional pre-K rooms to just give us more flexibility, and that should cover that fairly easily. So I think we need to ask Dan and Chris to get some hard numbers on what it would cost to put 2 more rooms on that pre-K wing, and then we could use the interest earnings to pay for that.
So basically, once we get the flooring work scope and those controls, those items we need to have contracted, we can get the contracts going. And once the contracts are complete, then we can issue a PR to look at those additional classrooms. So that'll be moving forward.
And everything, correct me if I'm wrong, everything mechanical, plumbing, heating is already been planned just in case.
Yeah.
So
well,
this is not
yeah.
this is not a surprise, this has always been kind of on the back burner, as a lot of these other alternates have been. And now with this money, at some point we'll be coming back and saying to the board, do you want to move further with some of these ad alternates?
Right.
So
And
to
the
kind of
design,
get into detail, not everything we could have planned is, so the air handlers are sized to handle the extra space. You know, then so mechanical pricing will be just the duct runs and the diffusers and all that. But
And the
yeah,
design work is done.
It's
Yeah,
been
we
in
don't
the
have to do
plan,
any
the
other
design,
design,
yeah.
anything, right.
Thank you.
Right.
Chris, did you want to add anything?
I think we covered it all pretty well with what we discussed.
So that all said, goes with motion 9.6. I will say that it's easy to read my last 2 items here. The ESSER money going towards special summer programming for kids in many, many, many different ways. And then COVID funding, and I think I've talked about that before. But I'd like to get to 9.6 here if we could. Take these out of order as long as Chris is with us.
Just the change order 9.62, I don't have a.
No, that's 9.5.
Okay.
That's not cool.
We can come back to that later.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, we can move to the 9.6 resolution for acceptance of work scope bids. So,
I can make a motion to approve the work scope bids.
okay, Carmel makes a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Questions? No? Okay, then we'll vote.
Carmel's gotta read it yet.
Oh, that's right, she has to read it, it's resolution. All right.
So I seconded.
Resolution for approval of the Independent School District 2180 McRae Public Schools K-12 building additions and improvement project bid award. Member Carmel Tine introduced the following resolution and moved for its adoption. Whereas the McRae K-12 building additions and improvement project is part of the 2019 bond referendum previously approved by ISD 2180 School Board. This resolution is to accept the bids received for the individual work scope prime contractors as submitted via sealed bids on December 10th, 2020 at 2 p.m. And those bids were opened and read aloud at 2:30 p.m. Project Oversight Committee and ICS met on January 6, 2021 to review and recommend award to the remaining work scopes as outlined below. Work scope number 13 and 14 to floor to ceiling for a bid price of $1,257,636. Base bid of $894,636. Alternate 7A, $363,000. And also work scope 23 mechanical, $389,500. Do we need to list the company for work scope 23? Or no, I don't see it on here, but maybe that's not necessary. Masters Plumbing, yeah. Base bid awarded at the 12/21 board meeting, alternate number 1D, $389,500. Total contract award, $1,647,136. Therefore, be it resolved, ISD 2180 McRae Public Schools award the work scopes outlined above in the total amount of $1,647,136 and authorized ICS, the district's program manager, to begin drafting the necessary contracts for this project. The motion for adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded by member Elaine Schwitters, and upon vote being taken thereon.
Okay. Now we can vote, this will be roll call vote, correct?
Yep.
Okay, well, Tate,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
myself, yes, Elaine,
Yes.
and Carmel?
Yes.
Then the resolution is passed and adopted. Okay, do we want to do 9.5 right away too as part of it, as long as the guys are here yet?
You can if you want to, otherwise I don't know that.
Do you need to be here for that? That's the change order.
Yeah, I don't know that. We could, as long as Chris is here, let's do it, because he's been
okay.
through this before, in case you have any questions.
Okay. So 9.5 is resolution for approval authority for construction bid change orders. And this is going to explain who has the authority to approve change orders based on the amount of the change order. Is that correct, Chris?
Correct. So streamlined construction process with any project, there will be change orders. This helps us with some of the decisions on a daily basis that'll be made, and then intermediate with the POC level. You know, a lot of the things that on a daily basis are probably under that $25,000 range. The bigger items, that $25,000 to $125,000, those are going to be the bigger things that we're going to want the POC to have to put in regardless. And again, that can be anything from an unforeseen condition to potentially added scope that the district wants to look at. Case being the kindergarten classrooms, which would be to the next level. So anything over $125,000, we'll talk about it at the POC, but the board would be required to approve that. So we've used these levels on similar site projects. It does keep the flow moving, so that we have the decisions that are mattering on the weekend. But if you got any questions, definitely willing to answer any of those.
And Chris, I would say with anything over 125, if we needed to meet, I would call a special, ask the board to call a special meeting. So we don't have to wait for a month to get it done.
Potentially, usually those amounts, we kind of know, what's brewing, or especially if it's
Timeline.
something like the kindergarten pre-K 2 classrooms that we're going to add or look at adding. We'll know that when that comes, so we can plan that for a meeting accordingly.
Okay.
All right, we're going to need a motion for 9.5, resolution for approval authority for construction change orders.
I can make the motion to approve the resolution for the approval of the change order decision making.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
I get to read again?
Yes.
Resolution for approval of change order decision-making authority. Member Carmel Tyne introduced the following resolution and moved for its adoption. Background: it is understood that construction renovation projects may be accompanied by change orders to the construction contract. which may impact construction scope, duration, and/or budget. These change orders may arise due to unforeseen conditions, design changes, contractor requests, or owner requests. Typically, change order construction will not proceed until approval of the submitted change order is received by the acting contractor. Whereas it is an effort to streamline the construction change order review and approval process. The following levels of construction change order approval and decision-making authority are recommended by the Bond Oversight Committee. Level 1, approval authority, Sherry Rodriguez and Kim Sandry. Approval of all change orders up to a limit of $25,000. Level 2, approval authority, Project Oversight Committee. Approval of all change orders exceeding $25,000 to a limit of $125,000. Level 3, approval authority, ISD 2180 School Board. Approval of all change orders exceeding $125,000. Primary review and comment of all change orders will be performed by ICS. Change orders passing primary review and comment will be forwarded to the design team for secondary review and comment. Change orders that have cleared primary and secondary review and comment will then be presented to the appropriate level of change order decision-making authority for final approval. Whereas the approval levels of decision-making authority will comply as noted above. Approval of this resolution is recommended by the Bond Oversight Committee representing Independent School District number 2180. Therefore, be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 2180 that the resolution for approval of change order decision-making authority be approved as presented. The motion for adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded by Scott Ryder, and upon vote being taken thereon, the following voted in favor.
Okay. Anyone has any questions? We'll take our vote, and again, it'll be roll call, so Carmel, I'll start with you.
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Scott?
Yes.
And Kate?
Yes.
So that makes the resolution passed and adopted. Okay. That should take care of anything related to the building project.
Thank you for sticking with us, Chris.
Yeah, you check it out.
This next one's set up.
Dan, you don't have to stay.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep,
Dan.
thanks, Dan.
Okay, back to committee, there really isn't anything.
You can text him when you're out in the hall.
I think that's, we talked about everything.
Yeah.
He's
as far
back
as the
now.
committees, Yep.
All right.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
As far as committee stuff, I think we pretty much covered it. Was basically, it was,
Yeah, unless the
change orders, unless you
PAC
have
has
something.
anything else to add?
We talked about the two classrooms, but they won't be able to be priced out until bids are awarded. I guess I should have asked Dan when that was gonna happen, but they're still working on that.
I just want to say too, about the controls, we spent a ton of time and did a ton of research on that. We had both groups come in and talk to us. Then we wanted clarification from one group, so we asked a different group of people from Ewell to come back and talk to us, and included a reference from another school that's using them. We had somebody from our group talk to Alexandria Technical College about their results with the company that we're gonna select here. And then we came back, did some more checking around with different groups that are using that company. We did a ton of work on that. Pretty much
Good,
every
yeah.
day last week.
Well, the good thing was, like Dan said, is we couldn't make a mistake. I mean, both of those companies were good choices.
Yeah, there's not a bad
The
choice.
bid amount was different.
It was $2,000.
It was really
Yeah.
not
Yeah, it wasn't anything to really sway you one way or the other, and we didn't have to take the low bid because it was an alternate and not part of the base bid. But the low bid ended up, we took a vote and the low bid ended up with it. And we had the custodial staff there and
Yeah.
other people that
All
need to
of
work,
the
need to use
facilities.
this, need to use this software and stuff, so. Worked out
Thank you.
well, I think it was a good way to go. So.
Was, thank you both.
Yep. So now we're on to 9.0, business items. Okay, that Iowa authorization, that's kind of a standard.
Yeah, every year.
I'll make a
Every year.
motion to approve as presented, 9.1.
Second.
Any discussion? Who seconded that, Tate?
Yes.
Yep.
And I guess, let's see, Sherry, you and Kim
Correct.
can add or subtract names or whatever, make adjustments for the district, so. Any other discussion on that? No? Take a vote. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
This one actually is a resolution.
Is it a resolution too?
Sorry.
Was there something?
Where is it?
But
It's
Oh,
just
just
this.
this.
It's
Oh,
so
gotcha.
just do
Oh.
it.
Oh, so we gotta-
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking for it. I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
okay, well, all right, Carmel, what's your vote? We have to do
yes.
Yes, all right, Elaine?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Scott?
Yes.
And Kate?
Yes.
All right, so the resolution passed and adopted. All right, now, 9.2, renew pact for families membership. Anybody want to make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for PAC for families.
All right, second, anyone?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Yeah, we just do that every year,
This
right?
is an annual one also, yeah.
Okay, this is not a resolution, I guess, so we can do a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed, anyone? Okay, motion carried. All right, 9.3, this is a resolution directing administration to make recommendations for reduction of programs and positions and the reason therefore. Motion, anyone?
Yes, I'll make motion, or make this as presented.
Second, anyone?
Second.
Discussion?
This is just an annual thing, right, Sherry, that,
This is an annual thing, yes?
just in case.
Yep.
Okay, this will be.
This one's just a
roll call vote.
motion.
Yeah,
No,
all right, no,
No,
this
this
one
is
is
a
not.
motion.
All right. This is just a motion. Okay, so then we can just take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, 9.4 is the motion to approve the school calendar, 2021-22.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Kate?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion on that?
Doug, do you want to add any discussion on this? This calendar started out with the three of us. We shared, Denise, I think you and Jim looked at it. Did you guys look at it? We shared it with the teachers. Sue Goldman went through it, counted out dates. The teachers gave us some feedback. Friday, we tweaked a couple things, made a change or two based on what the teachers said, and this is what you have. Not what's in your packet, this is the new one Melissa gave you.
The separate one here.
Yes.
Oh, right.
So this is not gonna be the long summer.
This is not gonna be the long summer, thank you for mentioning that. It changed because of what's called the phasing in the project. The shorter projects are gonna happen this summer, and the face of the new elementary will be this summer, and the structure of it will be this summer. But they need more time next summer to finish the kitchen, the auditorium, finish the elementary. So those are the things that take longer. So we thought it was maybe gonna be the other way, but that's why we wanted to get this calendar done as soon as possible, so that everybody knew the start time. We will be done May of '22. Can you believe we're talking about '22 here? The same time we are this year, and we'll probably start after Labor Day sometime in 2023. But again, our goal is, going back to part of my report, we'll continue to use ESSER and GEAR money for summer school that next summer as well. So we'll have 2 summers of very robust summer school.
The governor talked about catch-up learning
Yeah, well, we're
Whatever
talking
that
about
is.
enrichment, let it keep up with us.
I know.
Was that like on the radio or anything? What I just said? Okay.
It will be.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of catch up, credit recovery, enrichment, all kinds of good stuff, both summers.
And if I could add, Sherry, this summer will be a normal length summer for us, so no addition or subtraction to the length of the summer break.
Thank you.
Okay, so on this color-coded chart, it has holidays as orange, and then it says / voting school days. Is that just holidays? The orange blocks? Or do I have a different?
Oh, you got the one. Judd, was that voting school days, holiday voting school days?
I'm gonna have to pull it up.
I mean, that looks just like the standard Christmas break.
Yeah. Maybe I don't understand your question.
Down below at the bottom,
What's the
it
word right
says.
down here?
Right at the bottom?
Yeah, what's your question?
Well, it says voting.
Yeah,
That's supposed to say
That's not
all
supposed
school
to be on
days.
there, maybe? I was just confused by that wording there, that's all.
Yeah.
Do you think that's when the school, sometimes the school is used as a voting site? But not on this calendar.
Yeah,
but maybe
right,
it was just
right.
carry over from a
Well, that's what I
previous year.
thought too, and then I went,
Maybe.
well, but there's nothing in November, so, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
Oh, I think I know what it is. I believe it's one color to cover both of the scenarios. So it could be a voting day, it could be a holiday.
One or the
It's
other,
just,
okay.
it's just that color.
Okay.
So what
I
day
get
is
it.
election day in November? Because that's not orange.
Yeah.
First Tuesday.
First
They just didn't
Tuesday,
get it
so it should be the
down.
Can
second.
you see if you can get Melissa? She typed this up this afternoon and I'm not, after we talked about it.
You want me to call her?
Well, or run and get her, whichever's faster. Put your track shoes on.
Yeah.
There she is.
I thought you would call.
Yeah, that word, I don't know what that one word is on there for,
Yeah.
so.
Maybe like this past year, that November 4th was orange and, I don't know, it's not on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just confusing because a voting day would still be a school day,
Right, yeah.
because we didn't have the school day up. So the voting school days thing threw me off there, so, anyway.
We added on the bottom right-hand corner, primary election day, all those, so that it's right on this, so that we don't encounter any, we gotta cancel something because
Yeah,
it's a voting day, so, but that,
That would make sense why it's in there then, because that's part of
yeah.
the breakdown of what you just said. Township
Yeah.
election. That's a big day.
Well, that's our last, we need Jim to come, oh, here he comes. Here's our explanation.
Oh, okay. So your question was about the orange.
Right.
it just said the word voting there.
Sure. Yeah, that's probably, like, we can't have school activities on election day. On November 2nd would be a voting day. So that date in the calendar could be orange. You can't have them on a township election day. So on the March 8th would be another one. So those are just a couple things that didn't get highlighted orange
Okay.
that should be orange.
But we can have school those days, we
Yeah.
just
Right,
can't
you just
have.
can't have evening activities, so actually it might be more confusing, it might be
Yeah.
better just to take it off.
Yeah.
You just, that we know,
Right.
Yeah.
just leave the holidays orange and take off that voting on the
Yeah,
off.
I think so.
Or just
Yeah.
take off school days, because that's the confusing part,
Right,
because it's still a school day.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about I just take the voting off the bottom?
Yeah.
Voting dash hyphen school days, okay.
They do get acknowledged on the activities calendar so that we don't schedule things
Right.
those
Yeah.
nights that way.
Well, the school days thing was what was the confusing part of that, but, okay.
Okay.
As long as everybody knows when to show up and.
Right, exactly.
So Tate, you wanna amend your motion to remove that? You would guess?
Okay. So the motion would be to remove the voting school days note off the bottom, so it's less confusing.
Yep. Yep.
Any other discussion on that? All right, we can just take a vote on this. All in favor, oh, no, this is not a resolution, I'm sorry. This is just a motion. Yeah, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No, okay. Resolution, motion is carried. Okay, did we cover everything on here? We did, okay. Number 10, regular board meeting, February 8th, March 8th, and April 12th. All right. Any questions or thoughts on that? Okay, let's have a motion to adjourn.
I want
Yeah,
to make a point to thank Lane for being the chair for how many years were you chair?
Too many.
Too many. No, you did a good job always.
Thank you.
Sure did.
You covered a lot of ground the years you were chair, and you did a good job.
All right, thank you.
And thank you, Julie, for
Yep.
stepping up. I know it's extra work, so.
That's all right, thanks for being
You'll do good.
patient. And fumbling through this process here.
No, you're doing good.
Right, yeah, thanks again, Lane.
Yep.
Thanks for all your help. All right, somebody got that adjournment motion?
I'll make a motion to
All right,
adjourn.
Scott. Do we need a second on that?
Yep.
All right,
Carmel,
Carmel. All right. Yep, and we're adjourned.
got a vote.
Vote.
Oh, we got to vote.
Yep.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No one. Motion carried.
You offline, Jesse?
7:16.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yep.
Good job.